Hi, I'm Doug McKinley and you're watching Adorama TV. For today's segment, we're looking at architectural photography. We're here among the high-rises of London's financial district, the City of London, and using these great structures as our subjects.
Adorama TV presents Stay Focused with Doug McKinley.
Architecture is a really big topic, encompassing everything from modern glass towers, like the Gherkin behind me, to kids' sandcastles on the beach. Every urban setting, no matter where you are in the world, has tons of structures, many ripe for good pictures. But despite this diversity, there's some really cool tricks and tips that photographers can employ to tame this architectural beast. Now, this is what I love about modern architectural photography. These buildings aren't just buildings, they're sculptures. And you know, Londoners have this really unique talent for naming their buildings. Now, if you look in the far distance, that's called the Walkie Talkie. And then the one behind me now, the Inside Out building, is the Lloyd's of London building. And across here, this funny shaped one, it's called the Cheese Grater. And there's a black monolith, I have no idea what it's called, but we're going to call it Darth Vader's home. And of course, the one that's the funny looking one in the distance there is the Gherkin, because it looks like a pickle. It's fantastic. What is the correct lens for architectural photography? Well, the cryptic answer is, how long is a piece of string? Personally, I favor the short zooms and short prime lenses, but also I use the longer ones as well, the 70 to 200s and even the 300. But if you're really going to get serious about doing architectural photography, the go-to tool is a tilt shift lens or a TS lens. But because they cost more than your firstborn, few of us have money to buy them. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at lenses that people will most likely have in their camera bag. For instance, a 24mm 1.4 lens. It's a great lens. A 16 to 35 zoom lens. A 24 to 70 zoom lens. These are all really good lenses for architectural photography. Even the bigger lenses, the 70 to 200mm, and sometimes the 300mm as well. It's buried under my stuff here. With all these lenses, they come in handy, they do their job at different times. One of the things we have to worry about with architectural photography, of course, is the distortion problem, especially when you're using a short lens. If you fall back a little bit, stand back with your short lens and take some pictures of your buildings, oftentimes it looks like the buildings are falling over. Now we can fix that in the computer, in Lightroom or Photoshop, but if you're going to do that, make sure you've got enough room above and below your subject, because when you straighten it out in the computer, it tends to crop it in a little bit. And the longer lenses are fantastic for detail pictures. When you're standing back and you want to get pictures, say, of a row of windows or something. So every tool for the right job. When you're using these short lenses, get in close to the building and shoot straight up. This way the distortion works in your favor. And don't be afraid to kick your cameras off in funny angles. You never know what you're going to get. One of the first things I look for when I'm doing city pictures is the direction of light. It can affect the color, the shadows, the textures, and the reflections. Digital photography is immediate. We see our results within seconds after pressing the button. This is a fantastic tool when doing city pictures. We can fine-tune our composition, we can fine-tune our exposure, we can even check out to see which lenses work and which ones don't. So make sure you take advantage of these tools and move around, don't be stuck in the same spot the whole time. So we've just stumbled onto a pretty interesting picture in my opinion. So in front of me is Leadenhall Market, which is a Victorian building. And behind that is the building they call the Walkie Talkie, one of the newest buildings in London. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a couple of pictures of it. I just love the juxtaposition of the old and new. Sometimes when I'm doing architectural pictures, I find it a little bit difficult because I don't know really where to start. The surroundings can be really overwhelming at times. But if I spend about half an hour or so just taking detailed pictures and just let all those surroundings kind of soak in and get used to where I am, it just tends to be a little bit easier. And then I slowly move my way into the bigger pictures. So don't discount the little bits of stuff that are around you when you're looking at architectural pictures. Apart from the aesthetic considerations of your pictures, there's a few technical things we need to think about. Stabilization is first. We need to use a good tripod. We're here in Leadenhall Market. We're going to try and get this picture behind me, but I need to get the camera on the tripod. even if there's enough light to handhold the camera, I still suggest you use the tripod. It just really helps to lock in the composition. Think about your ISOs as well. If you're handheld, they've got to be higher in order to get the shutter speed. If you're on the tripod, you can keep them at 100. Your auto white balance is fine. You can adjust in the computer if you need to. And with the architectural pictures, some of the filters work really well too. Graduated neutral density filters, standard neutral density filters, and polarizing filters. They're all really handy tools when it comes to architectural photography. Architectural photography is more or less landscape photography. So we have to think about the rules of thirds, linear lines. Probably linear lines is probably the most important element to think about when you're doing landscape photography. So with this picture, for instance, we've got the sides of the Leadenhall Market drawing our viewer into the picture. We're using the linear lines in the buildings to help us bring our viewer into the picture and make them engage. Just quickly on this one, I've set the mirror to lock up and the timer to 2 seconds. That way we reduce any chance of camera shake. As for compositions, I like you to think of that concept of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Keep your compositions simple. Do not overcomplicate them. It just won't work right. Nice and simple. One of my favorite personal pictures of architecture was one I did just a week or two ago. I was down in Greenwich on a nice evening, and I managed this long shot with a long lens of Canary Wharf and the O2 Arena, and you can see the red line of the new Emirates cable car going across the river. And in front, in the foreground, there's an old dock or an old wharf, and just the way it's sort of shaped and the way the light was falling on it, it's just a really nice image. By no means is this a definitive video on architectural photography. I just want to inspire people to get out in their cities, explore, and get some great pictures along the way. Remember to take your time and think about color and black and white. It's very versatile. So that's it for me. I'm Doug McKinley for Adorama TV. Don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV for more great tips and tricks. And do tell us what you think. You can like, comment, or share in this video. And stop by the Adorama Learning Center for more great tips and tricks. And don't forget to look up.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy to use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use AdoramaPix.com.